Hey, ladies and gents, it's Zembak, and we are looking at the Tier 5 Japanese KI-45 Toryu. I'm just getting into these guys. I just unlocked the KI-102 the other night. I played 7 games in this thing last night, and I'll tell you guys, this is a really good heavy fighter. Compared to, say, the BF-110 or the P-38 or the Bullfighter, it's more maneuverable. It doesn't quite have the altitude performance as the P-38, but this thing can get up to 3,000 meters fairly easy. 3,500, I think it's its cap. 4,100 for the P-38. So yeah, it's definitely not lacking for altitude performance. It's really makes up for in its maneuverability, however. And you're watching the videos I'm talking about. This it's kind of stupid how well this thing turns. So, history of this plane, 1937. The Japanese were looking at the European theater, or actually they were looking at the development of twin-engine heavy fighters in Europe, and going, yeah, maybe we need to get on board with this. So the Army put out a request for a model. I guess the first one was a non-flyable called the KI-38, I believe. And it was just it progressed past that. However, in 1938, they said, let's get this ring rolling, and the KI-45 was born. As you see here in game, this is the high model, which is most to do with the armament. First development of this aircraft, had some problems with the engines. Eventually, they replaced the original engines with a much better version. And were able to get some better performance out of the aircraft. And we'll talk about the high model and the coal model and all that kind of stuff here a little bit. Initially, this aircraft was built to be a bomber interceptor, or interceptor in general. However, not interceptor, escort. It was a bomber escort. It kind of got its ass kicked, specifically by the Flying Tigers in 1942. It did participate, I guess, in the interception of the Doolittle raid, and never got anywhere close to the B-25s. 1942, it did run into the Flying Tigers, and the P-40s shot the shit out of it. And the Japanese finally figured out why the twin-engine fighter did not work out the best, at least for as an escort. So this aircraft was, of course, shoved into the ground attack role, or the attack role, shipping and ground attack, as well as bomber interception. And that's where we kind of get this whole which was the first version of this, to the Kai version. There was a Thai version, I believe, another version of it that had 220 millimeters also mounted on it. So that, and then the last version, which was the KI-45 D model, which actually had a radar mounted on it. What was the big difference here is with the high? This was the addition of the 37 millimeter gun in the nose and the 20 in the belly. The first initial model, the whole model, had 250s in the front, in nose mounted, and 120 millimeter in the belly. Not enough firepower, especially with deal with the P-17, so it was mounted with the 37. The original 37 millimeter on this plane was a Type 94 tank gun that was loaded manually, so they could only get 2 shots off a minute, roughly. So not very great. Eventually, the whole model, they replaced it with an autoloader 37, and of course they returned the 20 millimeter to the bottom side. You can see it right here in the bottom here, the bottom side next on the belly. B-29s were showing up over Japan. However, this aircraft just did not have it could, for the most part, reach them as long as they were not above 32,000 feet. Then it had no chance to intercept. The night fighter versions of this aircraft did quite well. I believe they scored something close to 150 victories. 150 airplanes shot down. In the night fight. Obviously, by 1945, 44, 45, this thing was really outdated. and the K-102 actually was taking over a lot of its ground attack and anti-shipping roles, and for the most part, yeah. So that was the aircraft. There is one surviving airframe of this aircraft, even though they produced almost 1,600 of these during the war, and that is actually in the United States. This was one of, I believe, like 100 and some plus aircraft that was shipped back to the United States aboard an aircraft carrier for evaluations. And I believe the only thing that's left of it is just the fuselage in the museum. So, yeah, interesting little history of the KI-45. In game, I'll tell you right now, I was a BF-110 fan. I love the P-38. This is just my opinion. Besides being slightly less altitude performance, it makes up for in the maneuverability. I mean, the only one that really comes close is the P-38, and that's got a maneuverability of 41 compared to this one at 49. However, most of the human heavy fighters that I ran into with this thing, it just ate them. Both fighters, BFs, P-38s, yeah, it just ridiculously good. Like I said, the 7 games, I think I won all 7 of them, and it really wasn't much of a. And I think I've averaged at least above 10,000 personal points every game, and it's just that good. It's a very good aircraft. What do we get for upgrades on this thing? We get so this was the original Co version with the 250 cals and the 20, and then this is the Ho version with the 37 millimeter, or the Hay version. I'm sorry, I keep saying Ho. It's the Hay version with the 37 millimeter. It's got the two 7.92s, and of course, since it was used in the ground attack as well as the anti-shipping, it gets the two 250 kilogram pound bombs, roughly 550 pounds for the non-metric people. This was the original engine when I was talking about the Nakajima High 220 or 20 Atso. This was the one that they had the problems with, the High 25, and of course eventually the upgraded Mitsubishi Ha 102. So, yeah, and like I said, when I started this aircraft, I started out just 100% cruise. So I only have one skill on it, working on another skill. I don't usually switch planes out real quick, but for the most part, it's been a very enjoyable aircraft. It does what a heavy fighter is supposed to do, but better, right? Its maneuverability. We'll put this on. I said it's on par with multi-rolls, right? Corsairs, those kind of aircraft, Falkwolves, yeah, it can turn with them. You get lucky enough, yeah, it does. You can definitely work even like a BF-109 in a turn. I'm not saying you're going to out-turn him, but it's a lot easier to definitely stay with them than any of the other heavy fighters. Of course, Spitfires and all that kind of bullshit, they're just going to eat your ass alive, but it doesn't matter. You have better altitude performance boost and rate of climb than those ones, so for the most part, just stay high and work your way down. So I'm going to bring up the gameplay for you in this aircraft. Like I said, I didn't have anything spectacular in any of the games, not even close to spectacular, but just a solid performer for most of the games. Yeah, I think every one of them were over 10,000 personal points, and I didn't really even seem that stressed in any of the games. You can literally, like I said, this is literally probably a carry plane at Tier 5 pretty well. And in the BF-109 is still obviously the best plane at Tier 5. If you're, the whole zoom and boom, the Spitfire is definitely user-friendly aircraft, but for the most part, the zoom and boom BF-109 and this thing, I'd put this right up there, pretty close to the BF-109 for at least so far my favorite plane at Tier 5. So I'm going to bring up the gameplay for you guys to check this thing out. Hey ladies and gents, back with the first replay in the KI-45. It's actually a pretty plane, really, when you look at it. I mean, they did make a single seat version of this in a fighter. I believe it was just one prototype. best altitude, I believe, is about 1,800 meters with this thing. I've chased a B-17 down with it, and I've got it up over 3,000 meters. So yeah, I think the ceiling on it's about 3,500. But however, like I said, about that 1,800, 2,000 meters is where you want to be here. Boosting on up here to get up to about my 2,000 meters, and I'm headed to the first military base. And we're going to try the bombs out. Ooh, nothing. Just to see how accurate they are. I don't expect any of that to hit, but hey, we're going to try it out. All right, we got, what do we got here? We got A6M2. They're up a little high. And there is also, I do believe, a Hurricane here. We'll pick him off real quick. And, yep, there's a Hurricane 1A, another human pilot. He's up, like I said, they're up a little high, 1,500 meters, which is all right for me because they've boosted up trying to kill him. Now, we've lost the South Air Force Air Base, or the missile base, and the center right off the bat. So we're going to have to get involved here. Pull down here on Nighthawk. Yeah, finish him off. And we've got it back mostly to the blue, up and over. I do have one GA with me, so I need one more aerial kill here, up and over 1,900 meters. And who do we got coming in here? Oh, pick up the other human in the I-17. So, finally pick up this base, and we're going to get back up to our altitude, roughly. You know, and that's the nice thing about this aircraft. Like I said, it does have the altitude performance of a heavy fighter. Not quite as good as the BF-110, not quite as good as the P-38. However, and it does have some pretty decent maneuverability. So this guy wants to go head-to-head, and we're going to see. Yeah, I'm already damaged a little bit here. Put a couple shells into him, and the it's still Japanese. Even getting rammed by another Japanese plane is not always the best. We have a couple head-ons with this guy for the game. He seems he wants to kill me. I got one B-17. I didn't realize I have a B-17 on. Who do we got all on our team here? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 humans on 6 humans in this fight. So we've picked up that military base, and I was thinking, well, maybe let's go south, and then I was like, no, look at the stream of red going to the north. I cannot lose that right now, so maybe it's time to head over here. And you know, and that's what these heavy fighters do. They do well taking objectives by themselves because of their altitudes, and they also do a fairly nice job of defending. I guess, maybe, I don't know. That's what we're going to put it to use here. We got one, looks to be a human pilot here, who seems to be interested in nailing. Oh, there's Nighthawk back. He's after the. You want to go head-to-head? We'll finish him off here, knock him out. Looking for that next red plane, who is a bomber. This plane does well against bombers. The AR-2, B-17s, when you do run into them on occasion, it just completely rips them. So we've picked up the center objective here, defended this one, and like I said, knocked out the center objective with the rockets. So we're going to head over to the far objective, pick up the BF-110 coming through here. Like I said, I don't have much of a crew on this plane. Actually, I have no crew on this plane other than just the fire extinguisher. That's it. So it's a little hard to control the 37. They are a slow round, and they're not exactly the tightest grouping here. So we're staying up about our 1,900, 2,000 meters, and we're going to head on over here. So they've got one. Of course, their missile is firing at our garrison. We need to see if we can knock this out here. So now both of their heavy fighters, which is I was really happy to see, are all the way up here at 2,000 plus meters chasing that human bomber. So we're just going to stroll on over there, boost on up over that way. I'm surprised I even had consumables on this after I hadn't played it for quite a while. I have a tendency to do that. Jump into a plane, I'm like, shit, I don't even have equipment or consumables on this plane. So, we got one bullfighter coming inbound here. Oh, there we go. He gives me his side. We're just going to put him up. We've got it. Need a couple more aerial targets. We do lose the B-17. The bullfighter didn't nail him. I need one more aerial target to finish this objective off. And of course the north one is already under attack again. So we're going to drop down here and see if we can pick up anything. We got the Spitfire 1 enchained. They nail him. And we've picked up this objective here. So now we got both of them firing towards center. I'm going to look around here, see if we can find anything. Drop down. F4F's up here. Quite a ways up. 1,500 meters plus. It's up and we go. Keep the boost up. Get at the altitude. I'm almost positive I can actually probably outmaneuver the F3F. That's the crazy thing about this. Oh, there's our buddy back here with the A6M3. We're gonna go head to head again. I had to show this video because it's just like this was a non-stop back and forth. who can ram who, right? Apparently he had it. He barely had it out for me, so that's okay. We're gonna come back in here shortly. We've lost the north objective, the center objective. We still have the south. Defeat is possible, however. We are sitting at 228, 300. Yeah, it's going to be quick here. So, but I'm coming back in here shortly. And, yeah, it's time to get back into business. We picked up the middle one again. And then we're going to head toward center here. Squall lines up in 30 seconds here. We got one bomber there. Yeah, what else we got going on? The second game is a little more exciting. That's a little bit longer game one. This was just hilarious because it was that A6M3 and I think we believe 2 or 3 times we did this. Picked up the Spitfire 1. Be nice to knock him out. At least put a big hurt on him. However, once again, can't turn with the Spitfire. We're just going to pick up and over. See if we can pick him up as he leaves. Squall lines up here now. So he's dead. He's not coming back. He'd actually been doing a hell of a job of almost 12,000 on the other side, so knocking him out is always nice here. So we still got the 2 to 1, 296. We're catching him slowly here. There's we picked up the A6M3. He's like, we'll go head to head again. Yeah, this time I got her. Like I said, it's the only reason I showed this part of the video. We've picked up all 3. Air superiority, and we are slowly catching on him here. See if we can pick up one more. The Hurricane 1A, of course, he's trying to get up to that bomber. He just doesn't quite have the altitude performance, but we'll pick him up here quick, and we finish him off. Like I said, this plane is just, it's so nice. It's so good. Not just with the maneuverability, you know. Like I said, of course, it's still a heavy fighter, so you still have the altitude performance. But that you throw that maneuverability in there with it makes it a very tough aircraft to deal with here, especially if you're in a heavy fighter, an enemy heavy fighter here. So we're just going to see if we pick up I-17. Nope. End up with a victory, and that's it. So the next game's a little better. Like I said, I had 6-7 games in this plane last night. Nothing All right, guys, back with the second game in the KI-45. So, this is Zem's indecisiveness right here. You'll see this often in the game. Like I said, it's been a while since I played, and I'm still kind of about it. Trying to do what I'm doing here. So I tell the guys I'm going to go to the North Airfield. It's a 4 human on human game here. And I think they were all headed center, I believe, but it turned out they weren't. And that's about the point. I was like, yeah, we need to take the center. So I turned and decided to go south. Apparently they went north. One went north. But it's nice to have this center objective here. So I'm going to drop down here. We're going to see what these bombs do, if I can actually hit anything. Pull down in here. The air defense fighters already knocked out our BF-110B. So drop 2. Let's see if we actually hit anything with it. They've picked up the South Garrison. And about that time, the bombs do hit. I do some damage. So they're not totally ineffective. Back around on the boomerang. Let's see if we can pick him up quick here. There's a lot of red baddies here. We're going to pick up the Blenheim. Put a couple shells into him. There we go. But we're not going to keep diving because, like I said, there's too much red here to stay too low here. So we're going to start boosting back out here. They've picked up the airbase to the north. I do believe about that time somebody's not happy with me. There we go. Pick up the Blenheim. He's going through here. We need this guy. Oh, there we go. Come on, Zem. Hit something for damn Jesus. One of those days. There we go. Now we finished them off. We picked up the command center, and we got the bombers up. Hey, boss, you didn't take the airbase? No, I didn't take the airbase. I forgot all about it. So, heading up here, let's see what we can do against some of these bombers. Pick up the AR-2. And I got one blue guy in front of me. I was like, I should just clip his wings, but nah, we won't. So, finish off the AR-2, cleaning out the sector, and we got inbound. So we got the bombers up. We got 2 sectors. They have a slight... Nope, we're pretty much even up right now. So, but the bombers, like I said, it's always nice to have this objective here because, one, even when the bombers do eventually, if they do drop, you have a pretty good chance of taking the sector as long as nobody's over there fucking around taking it. Otherwise, we waste an entire bomber group. Second, it usually pulls off fighters when they go start chasing it. So, works out well for everybody. Up we go. My indecisiveness, once again, do I go up? Do I go down? What do I do here? However, the B-36 was kind enough to let me, make that decision. So, he's a human. He tried to climb this high up here, and around we go. Let's see if we can get on John Prato with the B-36 here. We'll put a couple shells into him as he's trying to fly away. There we go. Screwed up his wing. Finishes him off. Yes. So we're still up at about our 1,900, 2,000 meters. Staying up high as we can. Fighting a fighter that's not doing so hot. He's falling. There's somebody already on him, so I'm not going to deal with him. He's outside of the objective. And we've picked, like I said, with the bombers currently inbound right there, we're going to go pick up this AR-2, who's doing a nice bang-up job of trying to flip my objective. That just ain't going to work here. Yeah, that's what's nice about having the 37 and the 20. This thing does a pretty nice job of taking off these big HP targets. Back around we go. Maneuverable enough to get around, to do it in a reasonable amount of time. That's one of the big differences of the aircraft. BF-110, B-38, Bullfighter. It takes a little bit longer to get turned around. This thing turns around on pretty much a dime. I shouldn't say dime. But, you know, like I said, in the garage, it's very similar to a multi-role when it comes to at least maneuverability-wise. Hurricanes, Corsairs, those kind of planes, BF Falkwolves. I think this thing might be able to outturn some of them. Alright, so we picked up Fred. Now we got William. Fred and William. Should have been Wilma. Would have been even funnier, right? So, over and over. We got another Hurricane right here. Let's see if we can pick him up here. Try to get this objective back. We're almost losing the one in the south. We do lose the one in the south, so really need to get this objective up and rolling. Start boosting up here. Too many red baddies here to stay down too low. We got to get our altitude back. Bombs are built up. And over we roll. Who do we got here? We're looking for some easy prey. Something that's relatively close to us where I don't have to drop down too far. And that's about the time we see... there we go. Now we picked up Fred coming through here. We've already got the objective. So now let's see if we can pick up Fred. Nope, didn't work. Didn't want to drop down quite this low, but those guys, of course, being multi-rolls, are, of course, down that low. Let's see if we can get Fred one more time. Flip up and over. Fred's flying away. Come on, Fred. Yeah, closer the better with this gun. If you can get it within, 400 or 500 meters, a little bit more accurate. I don't have much of a crew on this thing. Actually, nothing at all. I usually start every plane out with a fresh crew. I know I'm weird like that. Probably because I keep everything. We'll get Fred on this pass. Pick up Fred. We've picked up the other objective here, the bombs. Bombers had apparently got through unscathed and were able to pick up the south garrison. So we're sitting at a 3-1 advantage, 342 to 318. And we got some inbound planes. Ooh, who do we got here? There we go. I always like to see the plane at the apex of no more go, and they're falling. Pick up the Bristol. And who do we got here? Is that... it's William. The other Hurricane pilot. He's back. I'm sorry, not William. It's Michael and that Focke-Wulf 90. Some of these bots, you just hate them after a while. I don't know. I think Carter told me there's a bot named Eric that's just a total dick. But, I don't have anything against Michael. He's dead now. So, 2-2. They've picked up the center objective here. Let's pick up the XP-44. Sadly, I do even have better altitude performance, and I think pretty sure I can outmaneuver the XP-44. That's why I said one nice thing about this aircraft is the ability, once again, to be a heavy fighter, but at least have some maneuverability, right? Not just be a total dead weight here. Pick up the Hurricane 1 and William. Oh, come on, buddy. Just give me a nice flat out. We've knocked out his pilot. There we go. And we've knocked him out just at squall line. And we've picked up on one of the other objectives here. So we have center objective. Up when we go. And at this point I was like, yeah, okay, there's a bomber formation. We're up 3-1. You know, up a pretty good lead right here. And I'm going to go shoot some bombers down. And at that point, the objective turned to the south. So no more bombers. Zem was pretty upset because I really wanted to shred a whole bomber formation. I hadn't got a chance in any of the games last night to shred a bomber formation because I think this thing would do it pretty easily. So on Fred's tail, Fred's fucked. He's at altitude. He's also burning. He's also messed up. Holes in his wings. There we go. We got Fred again. Let's go, Fred. Come on, Fred. Fred. Didn't quite get Fred. Let's see if the tail gunners work on it. Come on. And how does an AR-197 shoot down a BF-110? Huh? Yeah, anyway. Back to Fred. He's getting worked over hard. Yep, there we go. Picked him up. We got one more inbound. Fighters, the bombers are coming. Unfortunately, the game is too far gone for me to get into any of that action here. So I'm looking for something to shoot here. My indecisiveness, yes, probably cost me another couple thousand personal points. There we go. Falkwolf 190 A1. He's spinning. Zem's missing. Come on. You can do it. There you go. There's one. I should have just dropped a bomb on him and been done with it. So we've picked up the center objective here. Not really been in too big of a problem the whole game here. See if I can pick up one more kill here for the game's with. There we picked up the AR-197. So, nice airplane. If you haven't got it, go pick it up. It's a good aircraft. Thank you for watching. Have a good night.